my God, welcome back. It was so weird being off for as long as I was. I'm not used to being gone for a solid week. And then I had a couple games that couldn't start back up again the following week. So it's, hi, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back. There, yep, at Earthen's Wi-Fi puts him in a happy face. We should all, like, when Earthen gets back, let's all go like this. What? There is he back yet?
Nope. That definitely froze again.
Oh man.
He's getting packet bursts is what he's getting. I bet you it's because he spent the $12,000 upgrading to from 1,200 baud rate to 2,400 baud rate. Everybody remember those?
Oh yeah.
Which is like, what the hell's a baud? Oh my God, we used to go gaga over the new internal modems that we used to get for our PCs. We get like, my friends would call me and say, hey, did you get the new 12,200 baud rate internal modem yet? Because they were such a heavy power draw, they either had to sit outside your PC or they could go inside. And it was so cool. You could finally drop a modem inside your computer. Everybody thought that was really cool. And then, you know, late at night, you're getting on your computer and all you hear is, you know, it does the whole routine. Our bard is going to be very unbardy tonight.
Oh.
And I know, welcome back, Winter. We missed you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. I'm sorry.
Hi.
I brought something and I had to put it together.
Oh no!
It was just sticking out the box. How about one of those little dice towers?
Oh,
cute.
you mean I want us to compare our dice towers. You mean you bought yourself a dice tower?
Oh my god.
My battery died on it already. I thought I had turned it off and I forgot to, so I got to put in a new battery to make the little light work. It's from the original Player's Handbook. I love that statue. That is like the coolest statue in the world. Oh, he switched to his phone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
The backup. Okay. Can you hear me? We're good?
Yeah, we can hear
I'm
you.
not all laggy now?
You clearly have hardware issues, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You gotta either get in that or you gotta get in the drawer.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. We had a lot go on in the last two sessions that we met. And more importantly, the team has finally left the Underdwell after bringing Puck back from the dead, or at least somewhere in between, and deciding to postpone on the amazing plan that Winter was offering up to sneak onto the most deadliest ship in the harbor, try to kidnap some of the most deadliest people within that ship, and then hopefully bring them back and convince them to spill the beans. Actually, that's just my polite way of saying that Winter had a busy 2 weeks, so we'll probably eventually get back to that. But the team had gathered up, had decided to take a rest in the North End and play a little pirate joke on poor Spot and Puck with the pirate ghost, but that was fine.
I'm not forgiving you guys for that.
Hey, look. What you did next was more than made up for that.
Did it, Earthen? Did it?
Did it really?
Yeah. I was
And
promised
then
Pirate Ghost. You know what I got? Not fucking Pirate Ghost.
You got to drop kick a giant lizard guy off of a thing.
That's fair, because the team had decided to finally gather up the necessary information to go and seek out Sawtooth's clan, in the hopes of either understanding better as to what they're guarding, and maybe finally find an access into this underground warren of the roots of the volcanic system that sits at the very center of the island. During these travels, the team stumbled across a ceremony that was in the process of being executed. Although they stumbled across the site, and while examining the site, the procession began to arrive. The team quickly scattered and hid in the boundaries of the ceremonial site, and then began to watch as a ceremony of sacrifice began to unfold. With Spot hiding near the sacrificial site and the others kind of hiding along the edge, it was Earthen who used his ability to grab the bundle that was wiggling about, as it seemed to be a humanoid bundle, and fled with said bundle. Meanwhile, Spot engaged with the priest leader that was offering up the sacrifice. Meanwhile, the others clamored in the dark, avoiding the pursuit of the other clan, and eventually rallied back into the forest amongst each other. At this point, Earthen had Aworthen. Is it Aworthen? A-W-R?
Yeah, today it's Arthen. Arthen.
See, folks, this is when you significantly suffer from OCD, and you go in, change the W to an E, and then correct that. Turns out that Earthen and the others managed to save the daughter of Sawtooth, momentarily losing track of her and eventually having to hide themselves as a large, sizable contingent of the enemy clan arrived. Suddenly, at that point, the Sawtooth clan arrived at the same time, killing nearly most of those that remained and then driving off the rest. As all of you hide up in the jungle canopy, up in the trees, looking down, you can see the Sawtooth clan has arrived. A familiar female lizard folk seems to be speaking to her father and the others, as they're not quite... were they aware that you were there yet? Did you guys drop down to meet them yet?
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Have arrived.
Killed the others.
Yeah, they have arrived, and the rest of you are up in the trees. What would you like to do?
I think those are our guys. I think that's who we're looking for. Okay, fine. I'm gonna like. I'm flying in the sky. I'm not like actually in the tree because I've got my ring activated. So right. I'm gonna kind of lower down in front of him. Don't shoot! The thing, the face thing, the blood on the face. Don't shoot.
Give me a persuasion check as you begin to lower yourself down into the group.
That is. Oh, that's a better. It's upside down. Hang on, I gotta.
Oh god.
Oh no!
No! I'm here. Sorry, phone stuff.
He's readjusting his phone.
I can't flip back and forth. Through that. I'm at least a +8 to. I would say let's call it a 16. I'm at least a +8 to persuasion. I think it's +9, but technical difficulties at the moment.
Can you look at D&D Beyond on your computer?
It drops my connection to that. That's why I was like, hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying. And I was resetting my computer because I'm trying to get that going back. Hang on. All right.
Gotcha. Oh my god, this is great. For some reason, your bard sits there frozen about trying to talk to the lizard folk. He's like,
hey, it's a 10.
10?
It's a 10, okay. Yeah.
All right,
I was like, it's at least a 9. It's a 10.
All right.
So that's a 19 then.
As the rest of you watch Earthen kind of like drop down out of the canopy and kind of like he's got his hands up and he's trying to address the few that he can see. What he can't see and the rest of you can see, there's at least 7 or 8 of the lizard folks spread out that have leveled their blow darts at him as he's lowering. You can see the huge form of Sawtooth alongside his daughter. His daughter puts her arm up on her father's arm and shakes her head. I recognize this one, Father. No, this is the one. Him and his friends helped me escape.
Yeah. I'm the one. Remember me? Yes. I had to go back for the rest of my friends. I wasn't going to leave them there. We don't leave our
Have
friends.
you and your friends drop down now. We must leave before they come back.
You heard that, guys. Come on. Let's go.
All right.
All right, we'll come undone.
Yep. Dropping down.
Punch is like,
Come on, Punch. It's okay, buddy.
I'm kidding. It's okay.
so eventually you kind of either climb
They have
down
lots of food.
and make your way down amongst about a dozen of the clan Sawtooth. Sawtooth himself is pretty good size. And he introduces himself as Kargoth Sawtooth, the leader of the Sawtooth clan. Our village is no more than 2 days' journey from here. We've been tracking the hand after we heard that another village had fallen on the other side of the volcano. They continue to destroy all the protectors. We are the last one. Please be quick and be silent. And you watch as they all just kind of melt into the undergrowth of the jungle canopy. And you can barely even hear them as one by one they just silently move in. Sawtooth has cast Pass Without a Trace as a totem. So that's currently an active totem on his form. So everyone give me stealth checks with a +10.
That's a large number. 25. That's even before. That's before my bonus.
I got a 24.
Okay.
It was a natural one, so altogether it's 18.
You're the only one I know, Puck, that can fail that well.
It takes the extra 10.
Technically, she's riding on the back of a tiger, right? So she doesn't have to pass as long
Fair.
as the tiger passes, right?
Winter, what'd you get?
So I ran it through the little thingy and it came out of 15.
And don't forget that. So it's a
There you go.
+10, so that's a 25. And on your character sheet, you should have a stealth modifier as well. It's under that big long list of skills.
Let me pull up the app. Sorry.
No, take your time. I'm just proud that you have a dice tower. I think that's awesome. That means you're using dice.
Yeah, I have dice now.
Isn't it so much more fun?
We're gonna make a dice goblin out of you yet, little one.
What is it?
Most appropriate time I've ever had to post that.
What'd you get, Spot?
36.
36.
My app doesn't want to pull up. That's weird.
I've noticed that the D&D Beyond app today has been very wonky. I don't even have it up
You're
on
supposed to
my
have those things
tab.
memorized.
For,
Yeah, right.
I always work on my phone, so it was just right there.
yeah. No worries. We'll put you at 25 for now. Once you get it up, we'll add the modifier. It's the beginning of early evening at this point when you stumbled across the ceremonial site. I'd say that the clash and the escape and the meeting of Sawtooth probably took a good hour and a half to finally come to fruition. As the Sawtooth clan leads you deeper and deeper into the jungle undergrowth and canopy, the nighttime air, it's strange being on a tropical island in the middle of winter. It's when you left Nicodranus, it was quite cold. It was the beginning of the telltale end of the winter season, and spring is maybe a solid month around the corner. But here in the jungle, the humidity and the tropical climb of its location, especially so close to the Shattered Isle Vale. It's nighttime, but it's not really all that cold, but it's not that humid kind of mist that you remember seeing when you first started traveling into this direction. And I would say that the Sawtooth clan for the next 4 hours leads you deeper and deeper towards the center of the island, using the overgrown crags and rocks and ravines, different footpaths and trails, but they seem to know precisely what they're doing and where they're going. Every now and then stopping to watch as a large creature shifts off in the darkness and kind of disappears out of range, and then making the sign to continue on and move forward. Team coming up onto their feet again. And off to your right, every now and then you could see the fins and the blue and white telltale scaled tattoos of some of the lizard folk who seem to specialize as scouts, as they are on the main peripheral of the way you guys are marching deeper into the jungle. It's at this point you begin to notice that Sawtooth's daughter is now back in her formal attire, and she seems to be more of a priestess. She's dressed in shamanistic items and seems to have shamanistic kind of totems on her form as well. Whereas Kargoth appears to be more of a chief presence, or kind of like this dominant physical presence that is encouraging the other warriors and scouts to maintain the pace, to move faster, to move quicker. At some point during this progression, getting deeper into the forest, somewhere off in the distance, you heard this familiar guttural roar of a T-Rex. But it was so far away that it felt far away. But you noticed that the Sawtooth clan came to a stop, and you could see the Chief Kargoth looking around, giving the indication of silence. And a few minutes goes by, and a few minutes goes by, and you watch as he reactivates the totem. For the second half of this 4-hour journey, everyone give me another fresh stealth check, please.
Do we still get the +10 on this one as well?
Yes.
Okay. That is a 37.
Nice.
Yep,
I got
that's
a
just a
13.
20.
What'd you get, Xanath?
13.
Ooh, that means you got a 3.
I got a 2.
Oh, a 2.
Plus
Okay. Okay. Puck, what'd you get?
Altogether 30.
Nice. Earthen?
Oh, I get to roll double on that. But oh, look at that. Double sixes. So that makes a 20 even.
Okay. Dirty
Yeah.
20. Winter, what'd you get?
So I got a 14. You said +10.
Yeah, because of Pass Without a Trace, I'll put you at 24.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Sorry, 14 +10, and then for my character sheet, I found it was a +5.
+5?
Yeah.
Ooh,
29.
29. Nice. So there's a moment, Xanath, that you feel a heavy hand on your shoulder, steadying you as you misjudged your step, and you were about to step off into a ravine crag that was overgrown with foliage of the underbrush. And you look up to see this fierce looking warrior, heavily tattooed and painted with war paint, carrying one of those kind of like clubs with the teeth running down the edge of it. And he grabs your shoulder and goes like this and points. And as you look down, these two huge sets of yellow eyes blink. And he leans into your ear. It's a crag ambusher. Go around. And he kind of nudges you to the left, and he goes to the right. Basically, he gave you the help action. So go ahead and give me a fresh stealth check to see if you could do a little bit better than a 15.
Okay.
I can imagine her clink, 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 clink. Yeah. Everybody else, there's no other sound. No other sound but clink, 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 clink.
Right?
If I still have Pass Without a Trace, I got a 20.
Yeah. So the two of you tiptoe around this opening, and there's a moment when there's a slight tremor, but then it settles, and the large lizard folk warrior kind of nods his head and points back in line with everybody else, and he just melts into the canopy of forest undergrowth. At the end of the 4th hour, it's late. It's very late. Sawtooth holds up everyone. I think we have managed to shake their pursuit. We will rest here at the cavern's entrance tonight, and then we will make our journey over the basalt crag and down into the village. Mota, Hishtwa, post guards as usual. My daughter, myself, and her new friends will take the first rest. Rotate your people and meet here in the morning. You watch as the scouts, the warriors, they all just blend away into the undergrowth. It's better that we do not camp as a large group. I will take you down into the shale breach, and we can camp safely down there. Follow me. And the huge form of Kargoth starts leading you guys down about 40 feet into this overgrown jungle crag until you're down inside of a ravine that has these two strange kind of overhanging rock formations that give a pretty decent amount of cover. You could tell that a camp was made here before, so this might be part of their normal routine when they're either out hunting or on rotation. No fire. Be silent in your preparation. If there are others out there, they will let us know. Now, sit and tell me your story of my fortune that allowed you to save my daughter from her fate. And he points to the nearby rocks and kind of he takes that kind of ceremonial squat, with his arms hanging over his knees, his bright yellow and green eyes just piercing and flitting in between each one of you.
I'm gonna crack my knuckles and then get ready, and I'm gonna start using minor illusion to tell the story of what happened with some embellishments. The tabaxi flying through the air, drop kicking the big evil guy off the top, and then a big finger point at him. It's you, embellishing the story as I tell it. But how I managed to save her, and we dimension doored out in the jungle, but also mentioning what's his face, Matrone, and the other gnomes. We lost the tabaxi. Matrone and the other gnomes, and how we almost lost the tabaxi. How we saved the Matrone and the other gnomes. Matrone, the Mousekin, and then Sibo and the other gnomes all know we're here, helped us, kind of pointed us in this direction. And I want to talk about what the big bad priest guy, the Black Hand guy, said last time. Because he was saying that about this is the next sacrifice so that he could get some kind of greater power, to raise some greater power to wipe out the Sawtooth clan. And how the way he said it, the Sawtooth clan was the last clan left. The last ones holding everything. So, reiterating that whole story with all the flourishes that I can do with my minor illusion.
It's about 15 minutes of your storytelling. During that conversation, the daughter and the father exchange. Does anyone speak lizard folk?
No,
Okay.
I just keep casting. What's it called? comprehend languages. When we were back there, I was casting that. I haven't cast it right now.
They seem to whisper in their own common tongue about the story. Like he's almost asking her for affirmation. And he kind of at the end of your story, he just kind of nods his head in understanding. I understand. The individuals that you saved my daughter from goes by the name of Rakis. Rakis of the Black Hand he actually used to be a friend of ours. He used to live in harmony with the Sawtooth. But Rakis has chosen a different path. Over the course of the last few months, him and his warriors have either forced or subjugated the other clans that live amongst the roots of the volcano. My daughter was on a journey to one of those clans. And this clan, the clan of the wind. And there's a moment where if emotion could express concern and sorrow, you watch as his daughter puts her hand on his arm. I will finish, Father. The Wind Clan is the home of my mother. That clan was wiped out when I arrived. I found remnants of the Black Hands clan's attack. Unfortunately, the guards were still there. They discovered me and took me capture. If I didn't say it before, thank you for saving me.
It's what we do. Right?
Well, we've actually come here looking for Sawtooth. We have a couple of questions, if you wouldn't mind.
He takes like a deep breath. It is the least I can do for those that saved my daughter.
Well, to start, we would like to know how much you happen to know about a potential being inside of the volcano that the Black Hand seemed to potentially also reference in their frenzy.
The Great Shadow has always been our responsibility to keep shut away in its prison. There is a door that sits at the root of the volcano, the Obsidian Gateway. It leads down into the deep roots of the volcano. There you would gain access into an area that we've come to know as the Dark Depths, the prison of the shadow. For generations, my people and the clans have allied with one another to keep this place secret and protected. But with the arrival of those from the other lands, those that call themselves gnomes, and those that bring industry and trade here, things begin to change. I don't know when it happened or why, but my friend Vasilisk changed himself. Once a great priest of all the clans, he would often do ceremonies with our patron, and we would celebrate the hunt, and the great huntress would guide us towards success. and we would live another season together. But during the hunt of last season, something felt different, something felt wrong. And rather than kill and consume the T-Rex as we are to do traditionally, he insisted that the carcass be kept and he be allowed to take it away. I did not think much of it at the time, but there was rumors of sightings of an undead thunder lizard.
Oh, there were sightings, all right.
This prompted me to send my daughter to seek out my wife, bring back the clans to the Obsidian Gate, and set up a defense against whatever Vasarisk was planning. But his power grows. Those that he does not kill, he forces into his warrior clan. He has become a master of shadow magic, and the dark magic that I fear has gripped him. He kind of stares at Puck.
Have you ever had any contact with a being inside the volcano?
No, only stories of the greatest priests that have ever maintained the obsidian runestone on the door. There are stories that when they redid the seal and the ceremony of the runestone, that they would catch glimpses, memories, fragments of what this creature once was, and an essence of their power that boils with a great deal of hatred and venom in the shadows of the volcano. But these are stories that pass from generation to generation. My daughter has been recently trained to perform the ceremony of sealing, to once again reseal the Obsidian Gateway for another 100 years before the next generation must guard the entrance. But I fear for her safety. I fear for all of our safety. If she is killed, we will be unable to reseal the obsidian door, and the doors will be breached. This has never happened since we have gained the Huntress's offering and patronage to keep the doors safe.
Can I roll a religion against? Oh man, history or religion against the Huntress? Like, see if I pick up on that name at all.
Yep, go for it.
That's not great, but let's call it 4 plus 5 plus 2, 11.
11?
Yeah.
You get the feeling, considering the conditions and the area of this place and the ancient clan-like interpretation that they take on, they are probably patroned to Malar, who would be the goddess of the wild hunt.
You said
Okay.
that things changed when other people arrived on the island, gnomes and people. What changed? How did that affect protection of the door?
The lizard folk daughter chimes in. We had noticed that these gnomes cast off their own kind into the place you call the Underdwell. we began to trade and seek information through them. We did not understand the nature of their people and why they did what they did. However, Vasterisk began to trade with the Copper Bottoms and those that were in charge of the manufacture. There was a brief time that Vasterisk stayed within their guild community. And when he came back, he seemed changed, different. While we continued to consort with the Underdwell, he continued to consort with the others. A schism, I think you call it in your common tongue, was being created. We felt through what they were doing to those gnome folk that were being cast off was inherently a bad thing to do. So we chose to side ourselves with Matron and Sibo and the others. We felt their need was greater, and they agreed with us that those in charge seemed to be on a mission of danger, a lack of self-control, an obsession of sorts.
It may have something to do with this. And I'm going to reach into the pack and pull out the infernal scroll.
You watch as Sawtooth jumps to his feet quickly. Where did you get that?
We found it on a ship on our way here, among other things. We've deciphered the scroll. We know what it is. We know what it says.
That is impossible. That scroll was destroyed over a millennia ago. That cannot exist.
I'll open it so he can see it. Because until then I've just had it as a roll.
I cannot read this language. Daughter, you've been trained in such ways. Yes, Father. She steps up. May I hold it for a moment?
Kind of look. Can I roll insight on that?
Sure, if you want to. Feel free.
Assuming she's going to shred it. Not rolling so great tonight. That's a 12.
Hard to read her. She seems genuinely interested in wanting to know more about the scroll.
I'll hand it off to her.
She grabs it from you. She reads it, looks over her shoulder. They speak truth, Father. There's only one way to know if this is the scroll. And he nods his head at her, and she shreds it. And the moment she shreds it, the two pieces float towards the ground, they come back together. And the scroll lands on the ground, whole again. You hear Sawtooth, damn! How did they get this scroll? Where were they taking it? Tell me more about this ship that you found it on.
The ship... My mic messed up. My headphones messed up. The ship we found it on, it had been attacked by a creature. A sea creature, a very large sea creature. Though not the largest that we know of.
Was it on a gnome ship?
Yes.
That is all I need to know. I need time. And you watch as he shifts into like this huge raptor-looking, like almost like a pterodactyl, and he leaps up into the air and disappears above the canopy of the jungle.
What's
You'll
he
have
doing?
to-
Where's he going?
You'll have to excuse my father. He's emotional. We do not know what has happened to my mother. And if Vask has her, it could be dangerous for our family. Vakis has become... He has killed so many of our kind within the last 30 days alone. I'm afraid it's possible that my mother is already dead.
Has he changed very suddenly, or did you always sense some kind of darkness in him?
It has felt gradual, but the more he visited the gnomes and the uppers and the guild masters of the coppers, the more he seemed to drift into darkness, the more he became lost to his people.
Did he speak to you about their purpose, the Coppermaker's purpose?
They were digging in a forbidden place at the roots of the volcano. Our spies watched as they dug a great pit mine. But we don't know what for. It makes no sense. There is no external way into the roots of the volcano. It is completely shielded by a bubble of magma that prevents outside intervention. The only way in and out is through the obsidian door.
Well, actually, we met a goblin who fell into the roots of the volcano by accident some time ago.
A goblin.
He went insane, kept talking about light and darkness and a lot of skin talk.
Yeah, tearing off the skin, right?
A lot of skin talk.
Honestly, too much skin talk.
He's not the only one, though, because Mannheim also had the skin talk. And he tried to eat my face.
Wait, you know Mannheim?
You know Mannheim?
We have traded with his people before. If Mannheim is in collusion with them, Mannheim is a very powerful wizard. He is very much capable of building, they call them teleportation circles, gateways and portals. In fact, my understanding was he was specifically here to study a particular gateway. He called it a gateway of transition. The combination of two planar shifts to be able to crack the veil of the difference between two planes of existence and use that thin space to make a way into a forbidden. And then her eyes go wide with sudden recognition. He is how they have gotten in. Because they've gotten in without the use of the obsidian key and the runestone. They have seen the creature, and the creature has caused them madness. This is the only explanation that I can think of. But how? The magic alone to pull this off would be incredible. You would need enough enchantment dust to cover the world.
I pull out a bag of residuum. I'm full of tricks.
Where did you get this? That is...
Same.
And that is residuum. We use a small amount of it in our enchantment of the rune lock when we reseal it for the next century. How? This is a millennia's worth of same ship.
Oh, no, not the same one. That was the other ship that crashed. But no, another ship also has come from this port. Also somewhat shady. Also crashed.
This is a lot. So much. If Vassarisk has teamed up with the gnomes who have dug this pit, Mannheim created the portal, and they've already gone through at least once or twice. What are they doing? Why? They cannot tolerate the psychic damage of the creature's awareness and what it does. I don't know why they've chosen this route. They are either very desperate or very foolish.
Well, Mannheim currently is very mad. Crazy mad.
I am not surprised to be in the presence of the legend of this shadow creature. Could quite kill you with insanity. It is said that it lurks in the shadows between life and death, and fosters and patrons those that deal in assassination and secretive deaths, and secretive cults have used the shadow's name in the past. This creature is often referred to as the heir, the cloaked serpent.
Yes.
We keep the effigy in front of the obsidian door, and we ask the huntress every year for the protection from this creature. We reseal the door, and we live our lives with the expectation that we will maintain its prison forever.
What do you know of the old gods?
Lizard folk are not naturally patronaged to the idea of the divine. We tend to be more shamanistic in our understanding of the natural world. We reach out to the huntress because Malar provides what we need. And our primal and savage existence allows us to live the way that we've lived for thousands of years. There have been times in our history where word of the collapse of the world has made it to us. But what do we care of that world? It is filled with hate, industry, kingdoms fighting over the scraps of lands, people suffering under those outcomes. We take the simple over the intricacies of the divine.
Go ahead.
Do you have any connection to any storm gods?
That is not something that we believe in. Ours is the natural world, the primal hunt. Malar protects us from the outside, and we keep the secret hidden and secured.
Have you ever been in contact with any of the merfolk that live around the island?
I am unaware of this name. What is a mere folk?
I'm gonna cast an illusion to just try to make it easier.
Her eyes blink and focus. I have never seen them before. They are fascinating creatures. We do not hunt the coast. We hunt the rivers and the swamps deep within.
Have you ever reached out or been contacted by the clerics that live topside? The clerics at the temple?
What is this word cleric that you speak of?
Religious.
I can't cast that.
Those who purposely practice the divine.
Yes.
How stupid of me. I recognize you now. Why do they effigize you particularly?
I don't know. It's an old statue, and I don't know why it's there. I was told a story I'm not sure whether to believe.
And what was this story that they told you?
I was told that the statue was an effigy of Helm's sister,
Another god.
another god, and that when a person appeared who looked like that statue, it signaled her return.
Interesting. This is a rather unique group. And your strange companion there, are you aware of who she is?
Who is he? Is he speaking
And she's like, she's looking at Winter.
about? Okay.
Who she is?
Yes.
Me?
Yes, you.
She's one of our elf buds.
Yes, but she is of an elfin and very ancient elven race. Her coming here is strange. We have not seen her kind since the last sealing of the door. A great priestess had arrived from a far distant land. I believe the island of Buale, and participated in our ceremony, studied the sealing of the door, said that she needed to take it back with her for her own purposes of study. She reminds me a lot of your friend here. I apologize for the distraction.
What was her name, the priestess?
I do not remember her name. I was but a youngin' then, only 2 years from my egg.
How do your people record history? How long have your people been on this island?
We record it in our words, our song and our stories. We paint the walls of our caves. Would you like to see our history?
I very much would.
She stands up and she says, "Follow me." And she, without even realizing it, she moves aside some heavy overgrowth and leads you into a cave entrance that goes on for only about 10 or 15 feet until it opens up into a massive stalactite, stalagmite kind of cavern that's been formed into the side of some undergrowth hill and descends slightly down. And as you look around, there are hundreds and hundreds of sketches and paintings, engravings, and the story of a people that have been on this island for almost a millennia begins to play out all around you. And you watch as she invokes a totem on her necklace, and a stream of liquid lights kind of dance up into the darkness, casting light onto all of the stories. My people arrived here some 1,000 years ago. They made a promise to Melora that they would keep her secret. It is said that Melora handed off the runestone. There, see. She points over to this. You get the feeling that, like most that take on the idea of patronage, they've decided that Malor looks like a lizard folk. But for Xanith and Earthen of the regular world, she's often just depicted as a creature of the wild or a primal creature. Neither necessarily specifically good or bad, just something that represents the idea of primal savagery. And you can see where it's this massive lizard folk image bringing this great shining round stone down to like dozens of lizard folk that have their hands uplifted. And then she begins to point at all the ceremonial paintings of the ceiling of the door, pointing at the different seasons of life, the birth, the death, the naming every 100 years of the priestess that would be involved in the resealing of the door. What's really strange is she points at another painting, and the identical visage of Winter is in that painting. The figure's a little bit taller. They're wearing garments and finery that depict of somebody of a high bearer in status. Zenith, you don't even need to make a religion check. This person is wearing the high bearer status of Bahamut. You can see the way the way the garment is, and then the purposely painted in image of the platinum dragon, like into the garments that they're wearing. And she's in the background of the ceremony of the sealing of the obsidian gates. Some pictures are hunting. Some are pictures of just normal life. Great, kind of like the tradition of the hatching of the eggs, where the young come from. I would also say Puck, Spot, and Earthen, you can give me history checks during this telling of the story.
That's a better one.
That's a nat
22.
Ooh.
22 for Earthen. Spot, you're just like looking around. This has been the coolest. This has been the coolest night of your life. Not only are you out of the Underground, you took on a really bad, like, lizard folk priest. You saved your friends, and now you're standing amongst 1,000-year-old paintings. You're just lost in the awe of the moment. That, and you find yourself staring at a very good likeness of Winter on the wall. Buck, what'd you get?
I got a 7.
Earthen, you're relatively educated enough to know that lizard folk only live for about 30 or 40 years on average. They have short primal lifespans. They live in traditional clan families and usually in very isolated regions. And they do this on purpose. They trade. They do a limited amount of coexistence, but they prefer reclusion. They just prefer to not be bothered by the machinations and the chaos of the outside world. If she was born 2 years after, or 2 years, and then experienced this Elodran elf as well as the ceremony, and she's about to do the ceremony herself this year as well, I mean, she's 102 years old.
How? What? How old? How old are you?
I have seen 102 of the rudiest moons.
Okay, I thought I did the math wrong.
Do I get any like undead vibe from her? Like from the Dampier Note?
You give me religion or insight, your choice.
Okay.
How? While she's rolling, like, how are you either? You're
I got a 27
27?
insight.
Yeah, you're... Now that you're staring at her, she's standing there with the dancing lights, kind of lighting everything up, recognizing Earthen's kind of poignant kind of amazement at her age. That's when you begin to realize that one of the paintings is her of a younger age. And that's when you're looking at this cavern, at the way that they've depicted their history, and you look at her. There's something between the idea of the promise kept, the pact with Melora. For you, Xaneth, you spent a brief time studying the Betrayer prisons. It's quite possible that this is one of those prisons. That these are the people that made the pact with Melora, and their sole purpose of existence is to maintain its secret. This is probably where they've gotten the unnatural life from. It also means that if that seal is ruptured and broken, they may lose that unnatural life. On top of that, if this is the shadow prison of Zahir, this is getting more dangerous. This is becoming deadly.
That pact 1,000 years ago, the thing you were sealing in there,
Yes.
it's a betrayer god, isn't it?
Do not know of gods, but we understand our pact to Melora. It's been passed down from generation to generation. We keep her secret. She keeps us safe.
Basilisk is severing the ties that would keep you all alive. Does he understand that?
I don't know. I would think he does, but he seems to not care anymore.
How old is your father?
My father has seen 500 moons of the Rudius. He has guided 5 generations of his family to maintain this secret. The death of our kind is to watch hundreds of moons of Rudius disappear to the ether. We only develop a clutch of 100 generations per Rudius cycle. Now, only 35 of us remain.
Your next clutch, is it safe?
It was located with the Clan of the Wind, under the oversight of my mother. 100 eggs make up the wind clutch. I found no sign of its destruction, but I found no sign of its existence. I did find that they had been taken out of the egg chamber underneath the spring well.
Okay, I just want clarity. Are you saying there's only 100 potential hatchlings for all the lizard folk native to this island, or for your specific clan?
These are both native and to our clan. Of that clutch, one is taken by the hand of Melora, identified as a great huntress and trained in the ways of the shaman. And they are shown the histories of our people to then close and reseal the runestone and to keep the gates protected.
How does the gate open if you constantly have to keep closing?
I do not know. Our pact with Melora is quite specific. Keep it sealed. Keep outsiders from getting in. And let no one disrupt the ceremony. That is our pact. And with that, we have all that we need to live. Food, resources, good health, and long life, as the pact was given.
By any chance, have you happened to see a human pass by recently? And I try to describe Devon.
We saw him a day and a half ago. He
Oh,
was making his way towards the volcano. Our scouts followed him until he crossed over into the area that the copper guilds keep their pit mines at the roots of the volcano. He was traveling with a strange-looking woman as well. Very tall, big hat, and they seemed to argue a lot.
Ah, crap.
Shit. Fuck. Sorry. I described the martinets.
Yes, that is exactly what she looked like. But there was a third that traveled with them as well. And she goes to describe Mason.
yeah. Okay.
That's good. Let's prioritize.
Are these people important to you? I have never seen any of them before. The one that you call Mason, he looked dangerous. He looked very dangerous. He seemed to move without effort. He seemed to be in control of the other two. He seemed to be issuing orders. He did not think we could see them, but we noticed his scouts flanking as they walked deeper towards the coppers. But once he crossed over into Vasrisk's territory, our scouts broke off the pursuit and came back and reported. That is when they were looking for me. They could not find me. And then my father assumed that he could find me at the ceremonial rock where you and your friends found me, bound in my tethered condition with Vasarisk.
Well, we know that the Devon guy is capable of communicating directly with whatever is inside the volcano, with the shadow. And he is bad news. They're all really, really not great, but also he seems.
And why did you not kill them when you had the chance?
I tried. I punched Mason really hard in the face. Really, really hard.
We didn't know they were bad until they was.
I mean, Winter does a lot of the heavy lifting on that fighting stuff.
That is true.
He puts on a good show. He puts on a good show. I give him that. But when it comes to like the damage dealing, she's got that thing down. But
yes, her masterful archery does not surprise me. Her kind are very good at that. And she even bears a Bawali bow. That is quite a coincidence.
I'm sorry, can you tell me a bit about the bow?
I've seen its like before. Some time ago, an individual came to us by the name of Banhim. He was looking to trade with the Underdwell, and he had a bow very similar to that one. He claimed it was cursed. He wished to seek out Sibo and have the curse undone. That is the last time I spoke with the Bahim. Claimed it was a family heirloom of sorts.
Okay.
so
Have
I
you
have a
had the
limited-
bow identified yet?
No. Yeah. I don't know. What do you mean by identified?
Magical bows of such composite can sometimes tell you what they can and can't do. Sometimes her eyes narrow as she purposely focuses towards Winter. Sometimes these things speak to us.
Oh, in that case, yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Why are the 5 of you here? Why come to this island? Why now? Not that I'm ungrateful due to the timing and coincidence, but it is truly interesting, to say the least.
I fear we're unintentionally a part of this calamity that's come to the island now. We all came here for different reasons, but the most of which is gold.
Simple greed and wealth, is it?
Not for me. Not for me. But we are not here for the reasons we thought we were.
And what were these reasons that you thought you were here for?
I was led, my God, my deity, Helm, encouraged me to go on this path. But when we started, we thought that we were looking for a missing heir to a family fortune. And that no longer seems to be the case.
Interesting. We have a performer, a zealot, a monk, an ancient elf, and a creature that seems to keep many pets. I fear for the 5 of you. If your vision is not completely understood, if your pathways are 5 pathways of understanding, how could you possibly defend yourselves against the old world of the gods? If this shadow seeks entrance and it has help, what is it that we can do? My mother is gone. The next clutch that would raise the Malor's chosen is gone. Those that maintain power, property, and wealth have found another way in. And they've driven their wizard mad doing it.
We need to seal the door.
The door is always sealed. It's the future that is now in the balance. If another priestess does not arise from the clutch, the door cannot be resealed.
Quick question. That really kind of scary scroll that you're looking at there,
Yes.
I assume they need that. What happens if they, if something goes wrong with that? I know that we apparently can't destroy it, but just for example, like what if what they're reading isn't accurate? What if they manage to fuck it up somehow? This is what I'm asking.
The scroll, that infernal device, is designed specifically to allow someone of power to find and speak with the shadow, to learn the ability to bring this shadow back into the material plane and give its avatar presence of power and influence.
Okay,
But
wait.
we have the scroll, do we not?
We do, but I don't know how far. Okay, full disclosure, I had a rather dissolute past before I was a monk. I was thinking I could copy that but fuck it up in some really, really particular places. Maybe really piss off that god, and they wouldn't know it until after they tried the ceremony thing. I don't think that would win the day so much, but I think it might buy some time.
You're talking about the betrayer gods. They don't care about anybody.
Yeah.
To assume that the divine lacks concern or caring means that they take no interest in those of the mortal coil. They are always concerned about our presence, our threats, and our subjugation. Our pact may have been with Malora for the intent, but our curse is to never be able to leave. Long life means the practice of a ritual, no matter what you would like to do. Choice for me and my people are gone. We are tools of the secret.
Is that a trade that's worth it? I'm probably not the best person to be talking about this, cat monk, all these other things, but
didn't you try to talk to a god and almost get killed by a forest thing, jungle thing?
I was trying to give thanks to Noah, who, as I understand, might be. Look. This is what I'm saying. I don't know that the gods are really there or care all that much, and I don't know. I don't know if, especially Noah. I don't know. She seems to not be doing stuff for me. Tamora, I don't know. I think she's kind of got my back. She seems to like this kitty.
Just kind of look at Xanth.
Yeah, Helm has had your back a couple times. The gods are there and they definitely care, but not all gods are good.
Yeah, so about that, if I understand the lizard folk tribe and can piece together what your friend Vrask was saying on that hill, he united the tribes. So I understand your clutch is something very important to you and important to this island and important to the future of this scenario. I think we might have a new current priority. We have too many priorities.
Does the seal need to be renewed? Is that something that needs to be done now, urgently?
I have completed my training. The final moon of the Rudius, the great red Rudius, will rise in 3 days' time. Upon the arising of that moon, I must perform the ceremony, which then seals the door yet again for another 100 years. Even if they have found a secret place down into the dwellings of the Underdark, and the roots of the volcano allow them to exist, and even if they can get through the madness of the creature, the shadow cannot pass into this world as long as that gate is active. My suspicion is that they either seek something else in that mine, or they are trying to find a way around what we do, or I don't know.
Well, we also heard of an ancient dwarven fortress down there.
Dwarven fortress.
The Cindercrest King.
Ah, yes. I thought that was just part of the myth of the pact. It is said that the Cindercrest King forged the great doors and forged the great obsidian lock that seals the doors. All magic has its source. All power has a place that it comes from. And in our myth of understanding, after Maloa and the great world creator gave the gift of creation to the Cindercrest King, it allowed the great dwarven smiths to forge the needs and the necessities of the doors and the runestone. We provided the ceremony. Their purpose was singular. Whether or not they still exist, I do not know for certain. The only dwarves I've seen are the ones that linger back in the great city of Gnomework and in the upper tiers and upper wards that sometimes they collude in the industry of the place.
Whether or not they exist, I think that's what the copper makers seek. If the Cindercrest King forged the doors, what do they need the ritual for? If that's what forged the doors in the lock, then they can forge a pick or a hammer to break the lock. They won't need the ritual then.
I do not know if the magic works that way. Most of what you speak of is rumor and myth. You guys hear as the pterodactyl form of her father returns, and then as he walks in as a giant pterodactyl, he gradually morphs back into his lizard folk form. Daughter, we had agreed not to show them our history. It jeopardizes too much. The two of them kind of face off. With that, let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
I'm going to try and switch to my computer now. Cross my fingers.
Meow. How bad, Tom? Oh, one more kind of excellent, the other one kind of sick. Zipper, it's fine. Let's go right back.
We actually have a cold front coming in. It's pretty chilly. Saw Winter put on her blanket, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get my cover because it's getting chilly.
It's cold.
Eartha, that computer does not like you today.
Is this working at all?
Now it is, yeah.
Okay. It's just
it's
very
working.
up and down. Yeah, it's very up and down. If I drop, I'll just switch back to my phone.
No worries.
Yeah.
Kansas City 14, Philadelphia 24.
I saw that. I'm excited.
It's halftime right now.
Go
I have no
Eagles.
idea what any of that means, but I thought I'd say it just in case.
I mean, if it was the Bengals, it'd be different. Yeah, the people would be going crazy around here because we're right next to Cincinnati, and everybody. If you're not a Browns fan, you're a Bengals fan. But mostly around here is Bengals fans.
Well, the Browns fans, that's considered the dog pound, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Oh, yeah.
the more notorious games are when Pittsburgh and the Browns play each other, right?
Pittsburgh and Cincinnati too. They also hate each other.
So bizarre. Got Zenith back, just waiting on Spot and Puck to return.
Any big plans for Valentine's Day?
Hey guys, I'm here. I'm just tying my my lights to the back of my monitors. I can hear everything. I'm just not visible. So, okay.
What are you tying up? Your cats?
My lights.
Your lights.
Yeah.
Poor cat.
Poor cat.
I would never do that to my kitties. I love my
My
kitties.
buddies.
My buds.
That's your version of my buddies.
My buddies.
As Krogoth and his daughter stare at each other with a distinct sense of disappointment. It matters not. Sleep. We leave in the morning for my village and make preparations for the ceremony. No matter what happens, if we could only give this world another 100 good Rudius moons, then that's what our fate has in store for us. We will let the world decide for itself whether it thinks that the importance of our maintaining of our word to Malora is more important than the wealth that they would dig up from the world. And you watch as he turns. Get some sleep. We leave at dawn. And he walks out of the history caverns and past the stories and out back into the glade where you guys initially had made camp. You'll have to excuse my father. He's concerned.
He's done this for 500 years. He would know better than any of us.
and he would sacrifice all to make it continue, but I feel change is in the wind. I feel a sense of conflict is coming, whether we want it to or not.
Xanth, a word.
Oh.
I'm just gonna try and step off in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow you to a corner.
If we're gonna do any kind of planning or anything, I think it's best that we have a safe space to do it in.
I will put up the dome before we go to sleep.
Okay.
And I guess I will put it up. I think I can keep like 9 people in the dome. So that's the 5 of us. Plus Puck, plus Punch, and the 2 lizard folk if they want to be in. Or plus Punch, plus Lunch, and the 2 lizard folk.
Yeah, lunch is usually safely a coin. It's
Okay.
only a concern when he's not a coin.
Okay.
But right now, he's in the front breast pocket of Puck's many lined, like secret lined pocketed shirts that she has.
He's a big baby. We could have used his help back there. He ran fast.
Don't push him. Sensitive.
I'm only trying to push him to be better. So
Actually, I have one last question. Just something that was mentioned to me a while back.
Yes.
Have you ever heard any stories of anything bursting out of the earth? Something that smells a little bit dead or skinless?
I mean, fables and stories always speak of strange monsters and creatures from other places of existence. But these are just stories designed to embellish or frighten those into understanding the importance of prophecy and myth.
Well, I spoke to a snake who mentioned something from long ago. Something about a skinless being that burst out of the earth and smelled like a corpse.
That is both amazing that you could speak with snakes and a terrifying story at the same time. Perhaps they are speaking of demons and devils.
It seems like something, well, it seems like undead things keep appearing around here.
Oh, we have heard of the rumors of the thunder lizard that was showing signs of decay. I would assume that is the one that you speak of.
Have any of you ever tried to concentrate on the volcano in a way that might facilitate speech with the thing that's inside of it?
No, we are taught the magical gifts of containment and protection, as well as the understanding of the ceremony. We have never been taught or even thought about trying to speak with the shadow inside.
Okay, then. It seems it is very talkative. So if you
But
happen
you speak as if you've spoken with this thing on many occasions.
It seems like I have alongside others. It is a bit of a chatterbox for something that is very horrifying.
If it can reach out to you through its prison, and you can speak with it, then the wards and the protection of what we do is weakening.
That
Or
might
it could simply be because we are coming upon, two earthens. Watch this. This will be fun.
Oh,
The duplicity of dark magic. The lizard folk jumps up. Demon! And just cast ye out!
No, it's just my magic spells.
Well, try to get some sleep. We can travel to the village and make further plans there. She goes to get up to leave, and she heads out towards where her father is staying outside, leaving the five of you inside the lineage chambers of Sawtooth clan and some of the other minor clans as well. You could see the stories of the Wind Clan, the Water Clan, the Fire Clan, and the Earth Clan. You could see the Shale Clan, and there's even some brief descriptions and paintings and outlines of the Black Hand Clan as well. What would you guys like to do?
I would love to send a message to the high priestess of the temple, Helm's Temple.
Okay.
And I think I just wanted to say, who do you serve?
You take a moment and you reach out to her. A few seconds goes by. And a minute goes by. And 5 minutes goes by. No response. No sense that it was received either.
Oh, uh-oh. I think there were two. I have a bunch of spell slots left. I think there were two, like, sort of head clerics. There was the woman we spoke to, and there was another one, a man.
Yep.
Can I try sending a message to the man? And although he didn't meet us, I don't think, did he? He didn't know who we were.
Yeah, as far as you know, Prefect Runstead Vela, she's the only one that you remember having a full understanding of a conversation.
Yeah.
There was some of the caretakers and scribes. I would say, give me a history check.
Okay. It's an 8.
8?
Yeah.
You do remember, because I gave it a DC of 6, that she had a scribe assistant that guided someone down to Mannheim, whoever went to go and talk to Mannheim. And that would have been Conberth that had done that.
Okay.
So
all right.
Conberth would be known to you as her kind of like scribe assistant.
And I can't remember if I introduced. I know that he at least met Earthen and Puck. I can't remember if I gave my name, but I'll say I'll send him a message. I'll say, Convert, this is a friend of Earthen and Puck. What news of the temple? I haven't been able to speak to the high priestess.
A few seconds goes by. You feel the connection take. If this is who I think it is, you would do yourself a service to not come back to the city. You are under investigation for murder of the High Priestess.
Oh no.
Do not come back and do not contact me again. And then you feel the disconnect of the reply.
I just tried to speak to the High Priestess, and I tried to speak to the man who led us through the prison. The High Priestess of Helm's Temple is dead. And
Prefect.
the High Prefect is dead. And I am being accused of her murder.
Oh, no.
She saw. Oh shit. She knew who we were. She had the poster. That's where we got the wanted poster. Remember?
Yeah. This was Mason. This was Mason, or this was the Copper Makers. It has to be, right?
She didn't see Mason as a threat.
Yeah.
I think that could be the problem.
So she's dead, and Mannheim has been taken.
Oh, God.
That's why he wasn't there.
Well,
They is the daughter? Is the priestess still here? Go ahead, Puck.
She's out front. She had left the lineage caverns and is now out in the entrance of the glade and the shelter with her father.
Hey, I'm gonna step out for a minute.
Okay.
I guess we are not too far from people who have potentially done it. Maybe, God, do you think it's related to the sacrifice? I mean, that's another priestess on this island.
I don't know. I thought that she was trustworthy when I talked to her, and I would have expected. But it's strange that I don't know if we've gotten the priestess lizard folk's name. It's strange that she has had no contact with the clerics on the surface.
I'm so sorry, first of all. I know you guys were in some way kin.
Thank you. I didn't expect this, and I'm afraid of what it means.
Are you guys interested in pursuing the Martinets, Devon, and Mustache Guy to see, I guess, what they're up to? It seems like if anybody knows what's going on and if anybody is working against us, it would be them. But it seems pretty dangerous to approach them again.
I don't think we can go to them without support.
You're out front, right, Earthen?
I am. Crap.
They're all inside. You're out front.
Also, something about the story doesn't quite sit right with me yet. I mean, whatever it is inside the mountain, it's asked a lot of questions. It's been very active. It's odd that people or lizard folk who have been so close to it, or maybe it's just different groups. I mean, I don't know. I'm still kind of flabbergasted by it. I'm still confused about dying and talking to it. I'm just not sure what it's trying to accomplish and if it's really what we think it is.
Yeah. And why this new lizard folk clan would be so eager to release this thing, which seems clearly prepared to destroy the island.
Yes. And I think based on what Earthen, I assume at some point translated to us from what it spoke in lizard, it spoke a lot like Devon did before he stabbed me. I mean, the whole open the vaults, take the world for himself. Our power united as our power will grow, transforming from his prison. Final offering. It just, I don't know. He also spoke about offerings and releasing him and unleashing something onto the world. It seemed specific enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it feels like the priority has to be to make sure that this gate is this rune is recreated, resealed. But I wonder if that leads us in the direction of Mason and the Martinet and Devon anyhow.
Don't know. I mean, we were brought here by the Martinets, and obviously Devon is related to the Wanderman and her goal.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to factor somehow into it.
Right.
I don't know. It's confusing. Do we trust the lizard folk?
I'm actually going to step out and attempt to talk to the lizard folk with Errand.
Okay.
I got my own questions.
You're a million miles from your microphone.
So I have my own questions.
Okay. So, as Puck, you kind of wrap up, or you kind of continue your questioning and thoughts. Spot then kind of leaves out into the main protective glade as well, leaving the three of you inside the lineage chamber.
Also, before we forget, Xanath and Winter, you're both, like, it's not the first time somebody who looks like you have been here.
Yeah. The coincidence of my statue and also the pictures of Winter on this cave wall, this extremely old cave wall.
Yeah.
How old are you, Winter? More than 100 years old?
No.
It doesn't make sense, and the coincidence of both of us is so weird. You have no connection with Bawali? You don't have family there or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
The only connection you can remember, Winter, is that might be the origin of the bow that you currently carry. And a family that owned that bow that resided in Bawali. And there's brief memory of a conversation about it with Sibo.
The priestess in that picture is wearing the robes of Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon. A god I haven't seen anywhere here.
Do you worship Bahamut in any capacity?
Not that I know of, no. This is all a freaky, weird thing. I don't even know what half of it means, I'll be honest.
From your understanding of your lineage, Winter, the Elendril have a very specific connection with the Fae. And seeing that image and that portrait, and hearing these questions, talk of portals and seals and gates, the understanding that the difference between where you are now and where you've come from in the past, it intrigues you a bit that a Elendril that looked a lot like you was here in some form, but seemed to be very interested in the sealing ritual, the ceremony that they perform. Took a vested interest in it, its understanding. Though you don't know much about Isra or Vasselheim, you know a great deal about the Fae. You journey there from time to time. That explains your youth and the way the world kind of ages around you. In your heart, you know that you are still kind of like the young teenage idea of who winter is. But the Fae and time are strange. They are never constant and never predictable. You can remember the last time you traveled to the Fae. You lingered in the Fae for 3 days, and 3 months had passed by when you had come back. One time, during one of your journeys, you lingered in the Fae for a year. You came back almost 10 years later. Coming in and out of the Fae has both preservation and consequence of its use. You guys watch as Winter drifts over to the portrait and begins to place her hand near it to almost test if it's real. Winter, as you stare closer at this image after listening to Xanath and Puck, go ahead and give me a history check.
It's an 8.
An 8. You don't remember her name. You're not entirely sure family or lineage. But there were rumors amongst those that you've traveled with of an Elendril commissioned by someone that went by the name of Pike. And this Elendril was commissioned to work within Vasselheim and to study spells of containment. Once again, with the near ascension of Vecna, not only did Pike choose to obsess over the fact of never letting anything like that happen again, she went to a great deal of trouble to not only create her own order of truth seekers as well as protectorates, but she's gone to a great deal of extent of making sure that those that she gathers up understand how important it is to be ready for the inevitable. And based on the description that the lizard folk had given on the timeline, this would have been just a few years after Vecna's failed ascension, and when she initially formed the Order, Pike's Watchers. And you wish you could remember her name and the sect that she was part of and her specialty. But it's there, like on the edge of your mind. You keep seeing that portrait. Elendril, all kind of being Sylvan and Fey in nature, kind of all carry similar visages of each other, a similar likeness of the reality of their magic with the Fey, their containment of magic, the way that magic is channeled and funneled through. But if this Elendril was involved in trying to understand this ceremony, must be a good reason for it, though you're not entirely sure.
Is she dead? Sorry.
Rumors are that she is still in Vasselheim. She's at the point of your memory of her, she was said to be approximately 400 or 500 years old. So if she still is in Vasselheim, she would be a little over 600 years old now. in terms of age, you truly are a teenager from a standpoint of being only around 80 years old yourself. The lifespan of an Elendril, especially one, if they choose to reside exclusively in the Fae, there are traces of immortality in those that never come back to the prime plane. There's even some that go quite mad with their own sense of power and have become patrons themselves. One in particular that comes to mind, a particularly annoying patron that goes by the name of the Traveler. The Feywild is both magical, strange, and dangerous, kind of all wrapped up in one. One of the reasons why you visit the Prime Plane so frequently is you've been gradually using your journeys to unconnect yourself from the Fae, to find the freedom of your own fate. You guys watch as Winter's hand lingers on the portrait for a bit. As she's... Are you telling this story to them as you think it? It's kind of like thinking of what you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So Xanath and Puck, you can hear her voice just echoing off the chamber walls as she's kind of doing her best. And you begin to realize that because she drifts in and out of two planes of existence so frequently, the gaps in her memory begin to make sense. A year for you could be a decade for her. An hour, a week. And this idea that Winter drifts in and out of these two places of existence in the hopes of finding her own path seems to be the main reason why she's here. Earthen, when you arrive outside, you can see father and daughter talking to each other quietly off to the side. They look up to see you come out of the lineage caves. You still hear the others talking inside.
First, I will do whatever I can to secure your clutch. I understand how much this means. I understand your cursed fate. Would that I could undo that so you did not have to live this life while maintaining security over what resides in the mountain. I would do it. But I came out to ask a question. You said gnome works. You said the gnomes had a big dig site. That dig site wouldn't happen to be on the other side of the island, would it?
Yes, it would be on the leeward side, the far northern side of the volcanic islands, at the edge of the roots where they meet the great cliffs that drop down into the broken waves.
Do you know the Dampier Caliban?
I know of this dead creature, yes.
Caliban saw something on the other side of the island and was taking Sibo to that location. I fear our friends may be in trouble if that is the dig site.
If Caliban has decided that it is worth the risk to bring Sibo there, they are skilled and masterful people. I don't think she would put Sibo's life in danger. And if she chose to, that must be of great importance. But that journey lies a day and a half in the opposite direction that we must go. My daughter is to perform the ceremony in less than 3 days. Time is a lackluster luxury that we do not have. I thank you for bringing my daughter back to me. But if that is what the fates have intertwined, I will not go against the fates. She must be brought back to the village, and she must begin the ritual before it is too late.
If we were to take out your former friend, Rakas, if we were to remove him from this equation, would the other lizard folk rally to you?
I do not know the answer to that question. To take on Vasarisk would be dangerous indeed. He is very powerful. He has many warriors. And because he has access to the Gnomework guilds, I believe he has begun recruiting mercenaries to serve him as well.
But you're going to need time for this ceremony, and I'm certain Vasarisk and his clan will attack. If we can divert that attention in any way, brunt the main force of the attack against you, buy you time to complete this ritual, it must be done.
There may be value in that, but I don't know. Give me a persuasion check, please, as you present all of this information and evidence.
Lucky point. I'm definitely using a lucky point on that one. The last lucky point I got, but because that was a nat 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's better. That's a 20, dirty 20.
You and yours do what you think is right. If you think this will help us and gain us the time that we need, feel free to pursue any choice that you make. Mine and my own will take my daughter back to the Coral's Haven, and there we will begin our preparation.
One last question. Where would I find Vasarisk? Where does he hole up? Where do you suspect he might have your clutch?
If he has taken the clutch from the Wind Clan, I do not know where he has taken it. It will require resources to maintain it, or he perhaps may have already destroyed it. I don't know. He does not necessarily have a place that he holds up. Part of his power is he's a bit of a wanderer. By destroying the clan villages and gathering their numbers, he leads them through the jungles and keeps them moving, always moving.
I understand. I'll put my hand on his arm. We will see you through this.
He leans, he's a good 8 feet tall, so he leans slightly down. I am the fated of Melora. I've seen over 500 rudiest moons of this place. I have no doubt I have earned favor. And whether that favor is gifted to me on the other side of existence or here, is irrelevant. If you're going to face the darkness and shadows of the depths, you better make sure that your mind is clear and that your mind is prepared. 1,000 years of discipline have prepared my people exactly for this opportunity. One of the unfortunate realities that I've learned of your kind: short lives, emotional lives, greed, anger, fear, always at war with each other. These are the things that feed the gods. I choose to not feed them any further. Whether our clutch is abandoned and our people perish, the last gift I can give this world is 100 more years before it becomes sundered yet again. At that point, you hear behind you a Spot comes out of the lineage cavern to see you standing alongside Korgoth, and I haven't given you her name yet, have I?
No, you haven't.
Korgoth and Scolari. So Spot, you come out. You can see Earthen is close to both lizard folk. Seems to be at the tail end of a conversation.
Did I catch any of it?
I would say on your way out, you heard his speech to Earthen. Because the caves are a little echoey.
I'm just doing what I do, man.
I think my friend might have answered my question while I was sitting there with the others.
I can barely hear you.
Sorry. Trying to be
There we
atmospheric.
go.
Also, yeah. While I was in the hut with the others, I had a thought. I think he might have already broached the same topic, but, well, are you entirely sure you're actually serving the aims of Melora? Just I am acquainted with one of her daughters, and it strikes me as difficult to believe that a goddess of chaos would confine you to 1,000 years of stagnation. It seems out of character.
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
say Melora is she is what the others would know as the Wild Mother, correct?
She is sometimes referred to that by others. She has many names and many visages.
I'm acquainted with one of her daughters, Nulla. From what I know of that family of deities, they're gods of change. They're gods of progress and movement. It seems unlikely that a goddess like that would confine your people to 1,000 years stuck in one spot without choice, without free will. That it seems incongruous. It seems almost impossible to believe. I'm not saying that the goals you're choosing to serve are for the wrong or that it's for a purpose I disagree with, but that doesn't strike me as the kind of thing the Wild Mother would have one of her acolytes do. Just something that a deity that causes and controls just wild growth. Why would she confine her servants to a single island? Why would she fate you with this, with no recourse but to stay the course and guard against a happening in the future? That seems like the exact opposite of her nature.
You watch as he looks from you over to Earthen, then back to you. Your friend may not like my answer, The gods have always treated humans like children because they behave like children. It takes an ancient lineage, a stronger lineage, to protect the world from itself. We were chosen, and we were fated with the purpose that she gave us.
But I understand you've lived many times the normal span for your people, but why do you believe that? The gods I follow are ones that I have personally seen in my own life. I don't, and they behave as I was always taught. This seems, as I said, completely at odds with what I know of Melora.
But
I am not.
It's a 500-year-old lizard folk. You don't think he's seen the god?
I'm just saying, like, I understand what you're saying about humans, but cat person.
I make no distinction. A child is a child.
I'm going to write that one down.
When you've lived as long as I have, and your people bear the burden of others' mistakes and failures, a choice was made, and the outcome has been protection of this world, the sacrifice of the freedoms of my people. This is a reward to the world, not a false claim. Is it possible we have been lied to? I put nothing past the gods and their intent. Is it possible that your faith is exclusively your faith, as much as your friend in there has faith in her god? Any more or less than the faith of my patron? The absurdity of the gods is the demand for devout being. Yet, they speak in riddles. They are cryptic. They never, ever give without taking. And when they take, it's unfortunate for anyone in their way. I believe humans call the term chattel. And he just kind of leans away from you, looks at Earth and looks at her daughter. And he walks away, climbs up out of the ravine, and you watch as he begins to just scurry up a large tree, and he disappears into the canopy of the tree.
I'm going to pull out our gift from the gnomes, the bag of blow darts and the guns, since this is who it was intended for, and hand them off to the priestess.
Excellent.
From your friends in the Underdwell.
We will put these to good use. Thank you. I apologize for my father. He is, well, in my clan we give them names, but we'll just go with he's an elder that's out of place and out of time. Change does not come well for him.
I can't imagine living 100 lifetimes. I can't imagine what that must be like.
Try living the same life 100 times. Watching children grow and die. Watching families grow and die. Always knowing that the burden of the ceremony is yours to keep until it's your turn to pass on what you know. The gods can be cruel, but we have purpose. We have knowledge that what we do will save the world from itself and what these dark shadows mean. I know not, but for tonight, I think I will join my father up in the green sky. And she just kind of nods in both your directions and kind of picks a separate tree and scurries up the tree with virtually no effort up into the canopy. Xanath, Puck, and Winter inside. What are the three of you doing at this point?
I think probably starting to get ready to bed down.
Okay. Are you casting Tiny Hut?
Yeah, as soon as I have
inside or outside?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it inside of this cave, this sort of cave area where we are, and I'm gonna make it gray to blend with the surrounding rock.
Okay. The three of you are kind of surrounded with the opaque, kind of translucent, arcane energy of the tiny Lehman's tiny hut, and creating that space of reasonable comfort and protection. Earthen and Spot haven't come back yet.
Oh, I'll wait to do it till they come back.
Okay. They have to be inside.
Yeah.
So Earthen and Spot, you guys head back inside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As they come walking in, once they're close enough, bring the hut into existence.
Xanth, what is Helm's relationship with the Earth, the Wild Mother?
Can I make like a religion check for that, or what I do? Okay. All right.
Floor dice. Floor dice.
Oh, for 2.
All right. It's a 14.
14. Gods don't normally care about relationships. There's the prime gods, or often referred to as the prime deities, both of which Helm and the Wild Mother are known to be. But there's always been a question of, during the period of calamity, and when the second attempt of the betrayer gods to try to take over Exandria in the known world, as far as religious text is concerned, and the eventual fall from grace of the period of Arcanum, there was a long period of time where divinity simply didn't exist. It literally had to be found all over again. And it was with an effort to bring divinity back into the world, but only in echoes of its original form, only in echoes of how it was originally interpreted. The 9 betrayer gods transfixed by the 9 prime deities. Their relationship has always been yin and yang, dark and light, destroyer, protector, ravager, creator. There are great swaths of Exandria that simply don't believe in divine at all, that it's a form of mysticism, that for the most part, the catastrophe of Exandria's existence has more to do with this bizarre idea that the divine exists. Great kingdoms going to war, the subjugation under a belief of zealot-like existence. It's whether you're in Wildmont, whether you're in Tal'Dorei, whether you're in Isilra or Marquesia, for the most part, divinity is a secular reality. And that reality is one of whether or not you choose to believe. Relationship with the gods is more to do with the individual idea of the faith versus the notion that the gods are related in any way. It's never been a prime teaching.
So I think I'll convey what I think is the message, which is essentially, they're both prime deities. They both fought betrayer gods, but there isn't much lore about a relationship between them. The gods aren't concerned about relationships in that way.
I guess I wondered whether or not he might agree with what we're doing, but if he's a prime deity, he must.
Yeah, I mean, the undead have always been enemies of Helm, and this thing, the creatures that it may be creating, are unnatural, would be considered enemies by Helm. And I have to believe that's part of the reason that I was led here.
Well, maybe you were led here before as well, it seems. I mean, there's a lot about yours and Winter's appearance here that seems beyond circumstantial at this point.
It's interesting that temple is, if I'm remembering correctly, like 1,000 years old. Sounds like the same time that the lizard folk got here, and the same time that the shadow thing was sealed. We need a plan, right? We need to either go with them and sort of protect the ritual, or we need to play defense, right? We need to go out and seek out the people who are trying to prevent the ritual from being completed.
If the lizard folk are going to last, we also need to find that clutch.
Yeah, that's right.
If it still exists. Personally, I think the Sawtooth clan will protect the ritual as best they can. I don't know what the 5 of us can really offer to bolster their defenses, but if we can divert the attention of the Black Hand, maybe we can buy them time.
I'm still a fan of killing Devon and everything that entails in that, which I believe was our initial.
Would this?
And I think that's a reasonable goal.
This is yeah. I think these goals are all connected, but we are not prepared for another fight with Mason. That's for sure. And if Mason is with Devon and the Martinet, who you remember what she did to us on the boat, what she did to me on the boat.
Oh yeah.
And everyone else on the boat.
I can't do it tonight, but I could tomorrow morning scry on one person to see what they're doing. I could scry on Devon. I could scry on Basilisk.
That could be.
To get more information. They might be able to defend against it, but I could try.
Could you scry on the mother?
Yes.
Huh.
if you can scry on her, maybe then, assuming she's still alive, she might be able to tell us where the clutch is located.
Yeah, I could scry on her, and if I can find her, I might have a better chance of casting sending to her afterwards.
That seems like a good plan.
Scry. I'm going to write the plan down so we don't forget it. I'm pretty
We'll have
bad
to
with that one.
Yeah,
Let's
in
at
case
least
there's,
learn the mother's name.
Period.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I think they told it to us.
Did they? I don't
No,
remember.
I don't think so. Scolari is the priestess, so we know
Yeah,
Scolari and
Scolari's the
Krogoth.
daughter. Krogoth
daughter and the
is
father.
the chief.
Yeah.
The mother would be Nalith.
Knowledge.
But we don't know that yet.
We'll say it came up in conversation. That's fine.
I guess that is with scry. It would be easier for me to scry on Basilisk or on Devon or one of those other guys because
Correct, because you've actually met them. Yeah.
So it would be less likely to succeed if I was scrying on.
It's more difficult because
Yeah.
you're not
But I
as
could-
familiar.
I can inspire you with
Oh, that's
song.
good.
Eartha starts dancing. Focus, 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 focus.
Zone.
This is definitely not a really annoying tune on the viol.
So you guys ready to take your long rest? All right.
The one, yeah.
Go ahead and click the long rest as you I believe the ceremony was a milestone, wasn't it?
I'll take it.
We haven't. Yeah, we'll take it, but
Yeah. I think you guys are now level 10.
Ooh,
Yeah, you guys are now level 10.
oh, fun level 10 for a bar.
Oof. Ow.
Yeah, welcome to tier 3, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Gets really fun.
Oh, I got divine intervention.
Nice.
Yes.
Exciting.
Ah,
Helm's gonna take care of this for us, you guys. It's not gonna.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
at
Helm. will
level
take it.
10, there's less
Yeah.
than a 10% chance that he might
got this.
intervene.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
A 90% chance he might not at all.
I get a new favored terrain. It doesn't have jungle as an option, but can I put that as forest?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Sure.
Okay, I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, just write it under your notes.
Yeah, D&D Beyond's kind of being a bit shit for me right now, so I gotta look and see what I can do.
Ugh.
I got a whopping.
It's rolled a 2.
I got a whopping 3 hit points out of that.
Real.
Oh,
I think, Winter, you are a D8 or D10? You're a D10, that's right. So roll a D10 to add to your hit points. Puck, what'd you get?
Haven't rolled it. Wait, where do I do that?
Bottom left-hand corner of the D&D Beyond screen, it should have the stack of dice. I believe you are you're either a D6 or a D8. I think you're a D8. Let me check. Well, you might be a D10 because you're a ranger. That's technically a martial class. Yeah, you're a D10 as well.
Wait, sorry, where do I do it?
Bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the D20 symbol of your screen. That should open up a bunch of dice.
Yes.
And then just click on the D10, and that'll be the roll that you'll add to your hit point pool.
Okay.
When you level up to level 10, it should make all the other calculations for you.
Oh my god, nice. I mean, I got a 2, so not that nice, but otherwise.
It's almost better to get a 1 because you get to re-roll those.
God dang it!
And then you just add it to your hit point total.
Yep. And it should, once you level up to 10, it should recalculate your con for you. And then clicking the long rest allows everything to take effect. If you can't pick a feat or feature now, you can always come back to it later if you want to. It doesn't have to be right now. But you guys wake up not needing to stand watch for the first time while out in the jungle. But you wake up to the following morning of day 2 of your trek through the no-work jungles. The tiny hut collapses at the end of its duration. The sound of the early morning and the light creeping more of a green haze. And you can hear footsteps as father and daughter come back into the cave. We leave now. Are you coming with us? Or does your path take you someplace else?
We really need to know where the mother is, if she still is.
I'm gonna, I guess
Or-
yeah.
Well, okay, mother or Brackus?
If we're just looking for the eggs, I think we're looking for Brackus, right?
Well, Varric, he's last time you guys know, Vrackus is out looking for you guys because you stole Korgot's daughter
We
back
stole
from
her.
him.
Yeah.
So if he's out in the jungle with his warriors, he's probably not going to have anything with him other than his warriors looking for you. Plus, if he's able to realize he's being scryed on, he may be able to trace it back to who scryed on him.
I guess I'll say to them, I have an ability. I may be able to scry on Nala. Do you have anything of hers? Do you have a picture or any of her possessions or like a lock of her hair?
He goes up and unfastens the saber-tooth necklace that he's wearing. This belongs to her.
I'll take that. And then I guess I've just heard of the target, so there's not much I can do about them. So I'll, if I can, I'll try and scry on her and see if I can see her.
Okay.
So you see and hear a particular creature, you choose it's on the same plane of existence. They have to make a wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well you know the target. So she gets a +5 because I've only heard of her, but then she gets -4 because I have one of her possessions. So she gets +1.
On her wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, it would be a wisdom save of 16 before the modifier.
All of you watch as Xanath sits on the ground, crosses her arms, and begins to drift into her meditative state. Underneath her breath, you can hear her calling to Helm. Blessing, the invocation, the divine energy pulls your third eye from your physical form and out of the cavern, up above the trees of the canopy. And it stays there for a moment. Your physical form can feel the necklace in your hand. There's a tether, an energy that begins to pull you. There's a feeling of connection. Your eye drifts deeper in that direction. It carries you over the northern wood or the northern part of the jungle. Looking down into the daylight, you can see the great roots of the volcano. It pulls you far to its northwest until you find yourself hovering over a work site, a great mining setup. You're pulled down into the interior of this mining pit. And you're brought deeper into the mine itself. Everyone here working is in chains or ropes. They are being guarded by lizard folk. You maybe travel about 1,000 feet deep into the mines. And as you hover there in the darkness, give me a perception check.
Okay. That's a 15 plus 8 is 23.
In a chamber to your right, a soft glow. But the tether draws you further ahead into the great mine shaft that's been discovered. But the glow to your right, you can see clutches of eggs gathered. You watch as a very large draconic form walk in front of that chambered entrance. Very large. Wings that curl up against its form. A great feline head that kind of comes out as this huge black dragon. Stares at where you think you might be for a brief moment, but then lowers its head and drifts back into the egg chamber it was burning. You feel the tether pull you deeper, deeper into the mine shaft, deeper until you pass by some lizard folk warriors, and then into a chambered room. Cat attack. Cat attack. In that chambered room. All right, Spot, I got to mute you. Oh, you got it. You're good. Another chamber filled with smaller pits all inside with these cages over all of them. Maybe about 4 or 5 lizard folk guard kind of traipsing in and out. And as your tethered mind hovers over one of the sunken cages, you see a very regal looking physical formed lizard folk. She is wearing an opposite matching kind of coloration of the Wind Clan, where her husband is deep greens, yellows, and blues. She is mostly deep blues and purples with a slight tinge of green. She is tucked away in a corner. There are other lizard folk in here of different variety and lineage. There are also a couple humans in here as well. A halfling, you can see a gnome, an orc, all chained in tattered clothes. They look emaciated. It's hard to gauge the lizard folks' condition because they're pretty good at hiding it. And your mind's eye just hovers there for a bit until you notice that the female lizard folk looks up for a moment, her wide almond-shaped eyes blinking. And then it stares with a strange look on her face. Then kind of shakes her head, and her head sinks into her arms in a kind of disparaging look, like feeling hope for just a brief moment, all of you watching Xanath, you notice a slight nosebleed beginning, a trickle of blood coming from her right nostril. Xanath, make an intelligence save, please.
That's a 6.
Do I need to roll insight to want to throw some inspiration her way?
She hasn't shown any physical animus yet, so yeah, give me an insight check to see if you feel compelled to do that.
I mean, seeing the nosebleed, it's like, is this a normal thing? That's, I mean, it's not terrible. It's a 15.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think she might need it.
Please be okay.
What should I roll for that?
Is it a D8 or a
that's
D10?
It's a D10 now.
All right, roll a D10 on top of that 6 and see what you get.
All right. Thank you. That's a 3. That'll take me up to a 9.
Yeah, so you feel your tether disappear. You feel your form come up out of the mine shaft and hover near the roots of the volcano. There's a vibration in your mind, a psychic reverberation of a level of power you've never felt before. You could feel 1,000 needles begin to penetrate the edges of your mind. Even though she doesn't scream or yell, you watch as Xanath grabs either side of her head as blood is now freely pouring from her nose and her ears as you take 48 points of psychic damage.
Oh my god. All right.
But you're wearing a helmet.
Okay.
Give me another intelligence save as you try to break this hold that's currently gripping your unconscious state.
Can I cast resistance on myself?
You can invoke it internally,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It's a battle of wills.
I'll add a D4 to my save. It's a 14 plus 1, and then I'll add my D4, so it's 15. Plus 4 is 19.
Yeah, the next DC. The first DC was a 12. The next one was a 17.
Okay.
You feel the tether reestablish with your corporeal form, and you quickly draw your mind's eye back to where you are in the lineage caverns. And then finally you guys hear Xanath let out a great scream, this yell of pain. She rips her helmet off. She's on her hands and knees, wiping blood from her nose, her ears, her mouth, her eyes. All the creature did was try to understand what you were, and it nearly destroyed your mind. The level of power that's being contained inside of that place is unlike anything you've ever experienced. You cough. A globule of blood onto the ground. And that's where we're going to finish tonight.
All right.
Puck, you were looking worried.
Well, she's just bleeding from her face.
Well, that's because that's the closest part to your brain.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's better.
Well, that makes everything make sense.
Yeah.
Paper cuts and all.
I mean, Puck's been there more recently than any of us. So
we're going to say goodnight to everybody, but everybody lingers so we can talk about the level up and talk about schedules. So, everybody, thank you for coming out and hanging out. Stay safe, be kind. Don't forget to play a game. It's important that you play. And we'll see you guys next week, hopefully.
I'll have a better connection.
Yeah. One that the IT gods will not beat them for.
My.